I was mid-snore, dreaming of martial arts glory, until my stepmom's shriek shattered everything. My stepmom screamed through the phone that Dad was dying. I didn't hesitate to rush out, but that black SUV wasn't heading to a hospital. It was taking me back to the pack I fled at 6. The pack house smelled like pine and old wood, and I tripped over a wolf's tail before I could even process it. Then I saw him, Alpha Daniel, the most dangerous alpha in the region, staring right at me like I was an intruder. My stepmom leaned in, whispering I had to marry Daniel, my runaway sister's groom, to save the pack's honor. I spat out my refusal immediately. There was no way I'd marry a man I didn't even know. Daniel stepped closer, his shadow swallowing my small frame. His golden eyes flashed, and I knew I'd made a mistake. He threatened to destroy my father's pack if I walked out. My martial arts training froze in my veins. I had no choice. I agreed to the marriage. My hands clenched so tight, my nails broke skin. Daniel's lips curled into a smirk. The pack members whispered, and I felt like a trapped animal. But I slipped my dad's old silver dagger into my boot. I wasn't going to let him control me without a fight. Daniel turned to leave, glancing back at me with an unreadable look. I had no idea what this marriage would bring. The pack house felt colder than ever. I was stuck in a marriage with the most dangerous alpha in the region. My stepmom led me to the wedding prep room. I felt like I was walking to my own doom. A too-tight white wedding dress hung on the rack. It felt like a cage I'd never escape. I stared at the dress, my eyes burning. I was supposed to be a martial artist, not a last-minute bride. The wedding chapel smelled like pine and regret. A single priest stood at the front, flipping a tattered Bible. I stood at the altar, hands clenched into fists, as Daniel walked toward me, his face unreadable. For half a second, his golden eyes softened when he saw my dagger peeking out of my gown. The priest asked if I took Daniel as my mate. I hesitated, then spat out, "I do," through gritted teeth. Daniel pulled me close, his hand resting on my waist protectively. The priest declared us husband and wife. As we left the chapel, Daniel whispered he'd keep me safe. But I saw a shadowy figure with red glowing eyes watching us. A chill ran down my spine. I realized this forced marriage was only the start of my troubles. I refused to be his prize, forced into this marriage like some trophy to claim. But Daniel didn't just threaten me, he threatened everything I cared about. My whole pack. My martial arts training screamed to fight, but pure fear froze my legs in place. He caught my punch effortlessly, his grip like cold iron around my wrist, unbreakable. He growled in my ear that I was his now, and my stepmother's sick grin made my blood boil. His golden eyes blazed with alpha authority, leaving me no choice but to agree to his terms. I agreed to save my pack, but I was never going to submit quietly to this prison. I'd kept my father's old silver dagger hidden, waiting for the perfect chance to fight back. I slipped it into my boot, the cold metal against my skin, a promise of rebellion. Every step toward that chapel felt like a step toward a cage, but I held onto my weapon tightly. With this dagger, I had a weapon, a tiny spark of hope in this dark, forced fate. I told myself I'd find my moment to strike, to fight back the second he let his guard down. I wasn't just his bride, I was a fighter, and I'd never let him break my spirit. The pack members whispered behind me, but I didn't care what they thought. Freedom was all that mattered. My stepmother's triumphant smile only fueled my anger, making my resolve burn even brighter. I grabbed the doorknob, my heart pounding, ready to face whatever cruel game waited inside. The door creaked open, and I stepped into the cold, formal chaos of the wedding preparations. I would survive this forced marriage, and one day, I would be truly free from all of this. The white gown felt like a shroud, but my dagger under the fabric felt like a lifeline. As I walked deeper into the chapel, I plotted every way I could outsmart my captor, my alpha jailer. Each step was a promise. I would not be his prisoner. Not today, not ever. Daniel stood at the altar waiting, but he had no idea what was coming for him. I stood at the altar, trapped in a wedding dress that felt like a cage. Across the room, Daniel's face was unreadable, no warmth, no mercy. The priest flipped through a tattered Bible, like this was just another chore. I thought I'd never feel more trapped until his golden eyes softened for half a second. He'd seen the silver dagger peeking out of my gown, my only weapon against him. The priest's voice cut through the cold. "Do you take him as your mate?" I hesitated. Every fiber of my body screamed to say no, but his golden eyes flashed a warning, disobey. And I'd pay the price. Through gritted teeth, I forced out the words, "I do." Daniel pulled me close, his hand resting on my waist, protective or possessive. The priest declared us husband and wife. My fate was sealed. We walked out of the chapel, the weight of the ceremony pressing down on me. Daniel whispered in my ear, "I'll keep you safe." I didn't know if I could trust him. I turned to look back, and my blood ran cold. In the doorway, a shadowy figure watched us, eyes glowing red, full of malice. They wore a floor-length black cloak, just like the stories about my mother. I reached for my dagger, ready to defend myself, whoever this was. They meant harm. Daniel stepped in front of me, growling low for once. His protectiveness felt real. The figure vanished into the shadows, leaving a chill in the air. We were married, but the danger was just beginning. Someone was watching us. Trapped in Daniel's wolf-themed bedroom, every silence felt like it held a secret I wasn't ready to uncover. His space reeked of alpha authority, but that dusty diary screamed of hidden truths I needed to find. It was labeled, "For Eva," my mother's handwriting, faded but impossible to miss after all these years. I reached for it, my hands shaking what had my mother hidden from me for so long. Daniel watched from the door, his golden eyes unreadable had he known about this all along. His gaze softened for a split second, then hardened whatever he knew. He wasn't ready to share. The first page sent a chill down my spine. Hybrid's child written in her neat, looping script. Hybrid? I was just a human martial artist, wasn't I? This couldn't be real. Daniel's phone cut through the tension, his face drained of color the second he answered. Rouges are attacking the pack borders. His voice was cold, sharp, deadly serious. My training kicked in. I grabbed for my silver dagger, ready to fight to protect what I had left. But as my fingers closed around the hilt, an odd itching spread across my palms, unlike anything I'd ever felt. I looked down and swore I saw something shifting under my skin, something not fully human. Panic clawed at me. What was happening to my body? Was this what my mother warned about? Daniel's gaze snapped to me, his golden eyes widening like he recognized what was unfolding. He didn't look scared. He looked like he'd been waiting for this moment, for me to wake up. My bones ached, my skin felt too tight. Whatever was happening, it was accelerating fast. My nails lengthened, sharpening into something sharp and dark. I was changing, and there was no turning back. Daniel stepped closer, no fear in his eyes. Whatever I was becoming, he was ready to stand with me. As my eyes shifted from blue to silver, I knew the truth. My mother hadn't left a secret. She'd left me my identity. The pain was unbearable, like every bone in my body was breaking apart. Rogues surrounded me, red eyes glowing, hungry for hybrid blood. Then I felt it fur pushing through my skin, my human form melting away. I didn't recognize myself, but my instincts screamed to fight. The rogue charged, and I reacted without thinking, tearing its throat out. Blood dripped from my jaws, but I felt alive, more alive than ever before. Then I heard it. Daniel stopped fighting, staring at me in pure shock. His golden eyes were wide. He didn't recognize the monster I'd become. The pain returned as my body shifted back, fur receding, bones rearranging. I collapsed, naked and shaking, humiliated and terrified of what Daniel would do. Daniel shifted back, walking toward me slowly, his golden eyes still wide with shock. I expected rejection, disgust, anything but what he did next. He wrapped his coat around me, his touch gentle despite his alpha strength. His golden eyes softened, and he spoke words I never thought I'd hear. "You're a lichen," he whispered. Just like me. I stared at him, speechless. I was one of them, an alpha lichen, just like my mate. The pack members stared, their expressions shifting from fear to respect. Daniel helped me to my feet, his grip steady as we walked back to the pack house. For the first time in my life, I didn't feel like an outsider. I felt like I belonged. But as we walked, I knew this was only the beginning. My true journey was just starting. I woke up in the pack infirmary, my body still throbbing from shifting into a lichen for the first time. Daniel stood by the wall, holding a glass of water, not asking a single question. He just handed me the water and said he'd keep my lichen secret safe. I stared at my hands, confused how I could suddenly shift into a lichen. That's when the pack healer spoke up, breaking the quiet tension. She said lichens only shift when they meet their fated mate. My heart skipped a beat. This forced marriage might actually be fate? Daniel looked at me, saying he'd waited for a mate who could fight beside him. The healer left, closing the door behind her, leaving us alone. I was about to kiss him, when the door burst open with a crash. A man with pale skin and green eyes burst in, holding a silver stake at me. "Vampire hybrid, don't move," he shouted, his voice cold and firm. I froze. Vampire hybrid? I had no idea about this part of my identity. Daniel instantly shifted into his wolf form, growling and standing between me and the stranger. "I'm your vampire guardian," he said, his tone softening slightly. He said he was sent to protect me from someone I thought was dead. He pulled out a photo, my mother, standing with an ancient man with silver hair. He said my mother had turned into a vampire, and she was hunting me. Tears rolled down my face. My mother was alive, but she was a monster now. Just then, the pack alarm blared. Vampires were attacking the pack house. I grabbed my silver dagger, ready to fight to protect my mate and the pack. Daniel let out a fierce roar, ready to charge out and fight. "We fight together," Silas said, "to protect the pack and keep you safe." We charged toward the door together, ready to face the unknown danger outside. I thought Silas was just a rogue hunter until he dropped the biggest bomb of my life. He said he was my vampire guardian sent to protect me from the monster my mother had become. My mom wasn't dead. She'd turned into a bloodthirsty vampire, and she was coming for me. I couldn't believe it. The woman who raised me was now a monster hunting my powers. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, growling like he'd tear anyone apart to keep me safe. Silas pulled out his silver stake disguised as a pen, ready to fight by our side. Then we heard it. The pack alarm blared, and I knew she was here. The red alarm lights flooded the halls, and the sound of vampire snarls filled the air. Fear turned to rage. I grabbed my dagger and prepared to face the monster who used to be my mom. The pack house turned into a battlefield. Wolves and vampires clashed, blood spilling on the wooden floors. Daniel launched himself at a vampire, fangs bared, tearing into its neck with ferocity. My own fangs pushed through my gums, a thirst I'd never felt before burning in my throat. Silas moved like lightning, driving his silver stake straight through a vampire's heart. A vampire lunged at me, but I dodged just in time, my training kicking in. Then I saw her, Clara, standing at the top of the stairs, her red eyes glowing with malice. She held a silver dagger, the same one my mom used to keep by her bed, now a weapon against me. Our eyes locked. and I felt her hunger for my time-manipulating powers radiating from her. I wanted to scream, to ask why she'd become this monster, but I knew there was no going back. Daniel stepped between us, growling so loud the walls shook, ready to die to protect me. Clara laughed, a cold, cruel sound, and raised her dagger ready to strike us down. The battle raged on, pack members and vampires falling left and right as chaos consumed the pack house. Silas tended to a wounded pack member, handing him a glowing green healing potion to stem the bleeding. I focused, trying to use my time powers to slow the chaos around us to buy us a fighting chance. Clara's red eyes narrowed in surprise. She hadn't expected me to control my powers this soon. We formed a triangle, ready to face her together. This was no longer just my fight, it was all of ours. I thought I was just fighting vampires until my fangs broke through my gums. Their red eyes glowed in the dark, hungry for hybrid blood I didn't know I had. I froze, until a primal thirst I'd never felt overwhelmed me. I sank my fangs into his neck before I could even think. I stepped back, horrified by what this hybrid blood had made me do. Daniel appeared out of nowhere, his silver dagger finding its mark. He stared at me, but he didn't run. He looked like he understood. I wiped the blood from my face, scared of what I might become next. He finished off the last one, and the hallway went quiet, too quiet. That's when I heard its footsteps, slow and deliberate, coming from the end of the hall. Then her voice cut through the dark, my mother. But not as I remembered her. I stepped in front of Daniel, ready to fight the mother I thought was dead. Her red eyes glowed with malice, and I knew she wasn't here to talk. She pulled the silver dagger from her waist, the same one my father gave me. I gripped my own dagger tighter, ready to fight for the man I was starting to love. The hallway felt like a battlefield, and I knew this fight would change everything. She took a step forward, smiling like she already knew she'd win. My own eyes turned vivid, and I felt the full power of my hybrid blood surge. She threw her dagger, and I barely had time to react. It grazed my cheek, and I knew this was only the beginning of our war. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, ready to fight beside me. Mom tried to take over my mind, but my hybrid powers fought back. She had no idea what I'd become. Daniel stepped in front of me without hesitation, his alpha instincts screaming to protect his mate. Her red eyes burned with fury. She thought I'd be easy to break, but she was wrong. She drew her silver dagger, the very weapon she'd used to hunt hybrids like me. She gave me one impossible choice: surrender my powers, or watch Daniel die. My hands shook as I gripped my own dagger. I couldn't let her take everything from me. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, his growls shaking the walls. He was ready to fight to the death. She laughed, a cold, hollow sound. She knew I'd never let Daniel get hurt. She turned and walked away, leaving her threat hanging over us like a noose. As her footsteps faded, the fear hit me like a tidal wave. I was so scared I'd fail. Daniel shifted back to human and moved close, his touch steadying my shaking body. He whispered that we'd find a way, that we wouldn't let her win. I collapsed to the floor, tears mixing with the blood on the wooden planks. I felt so helpless. Through the tears, a spark of resolve ignited. I wouldn't let her destroy everything. Silas stood in the doorway, his silver stake hidden in his suit. He'd been watching the whole time. He still carried his silver stake disguised as a pen, ready to fight if we needed him. We stood together, united. We had one day to find a way to defeat my mother. I grabbed my father's old silver dagger. It had protected me before, and it would again. I looked up at the ceiling, silent vow on my lips. I wouldn't let her win. Not ever. But as we turned to leave, I saw her shadow in the distance, watching, waiting for her next move. I clenched my fists so tight my nails dug into my palms. I had to be stronger this time. Daniel and Silas looked at me, their eyes full of trust. They believed I could do this. The wolf carvings on the walls seemed to watch us, a reminder of who we were and what we fought for. I pored over ancient texts, finally unlocking my time powers with a devastating catch. Every time I rewrite the past, I risk erasing Daniel from existence entirely. The thought of losing him made my powers flicker like a dying flame. But Daniel didn't hesitate. He stepped forward, grabbing my trembling hands. No matter what happens to me, I'll stand by you, always. Silas burst in, his voice urgent. We need to find your biological father. He told me only a fellow hybrid could teach me to control my powers without cost. The name Orpheus echoed in my mind, strangely familiar, yet completely unknown. I was ready to search the entire world when the door creaked open again. A figure stood in the doorway, ancient, scarred, with silver hair and amber eyes. He stepped inside, his voice low, and filled with guilt and resolve. I am Orpheus, your biological father, and I'm a vampire-werewolf hybrid, just like you. The truth hit me like a tidal wave. All my powers, all my pain, finally made sense. Orpheus revealed his own scar from a werewolf attack, a reminder of our shared fate. For years, I hid from Clara, but now, I know how to stop her for good. His eyes glowed with a power I recognized, our hybrid magic, intertwined. Daniel stepped forward, ready to stand with us no matter the cost. A new alliance was formed, one that could finally end Clara's reign of terror. But I couldn't shake the feeling this would be our hardest battle yet. And somewhere in the shadows, Clara's red eyes watched, waiting for her next move. That locket. It had my mother's face. I stared, stunned beyond words. He said he was my biological father, the man who'd hidden in the shadows all my life. He told me how he fell for my mother, only to be attacked by her pack. When she was dying from that rare werewolf disease, he made a terrible choice. He turned her into a vampire to save her. But it broke her from the inside. The wolf in her died, and something dark took its place. She vanished without a trace. I've lived with this guilt for decades. I failed both you and your mother, but I can fix this. I'll transfer my hybrid power to Daniel, so he can resist her mind control. No, I won't let you sacrifice yourself for me. There has to be another way. It's the only way. Your mother's power grows stronger with every passing hour. My hybrid blood will give Daniel the strength to stand against her. Daniel hesitated, then knelt. He knew what this sacrifice meant for us all. The blood burned down his throat, and I saw his eyes glow brighter with hybrid power. He felt it, the raw power of a true hybrid coursing through his veins. I knew we could fight her now, but we were already running out of time. The pack alarm blared. Red light flooded the room, casting eerie shadows. I recognized that cold voice immediately. My mother's voice echoed through the speakers. "Time's up, Eva. Surrender or I'll burn the pack house to the ground." I grabbed my dagger, ready to fight back. We wouldn't let her destroy everything we loved. We ran toward the pack house, ready to face the darkness head on, together. Clara's army closed in, and Orpheus had one last, desperate plan to save us. He offered me his hybrid blood, said it would let me fight off Clara's mind control. I hesitated until Clara's cold, cruel laugh cut through the chaos. I drank it down, feeling a burning, raw power surge through my veins. Orpheus collapsed, and then Clara descended, her red eyes glowing with pure malice. My eyes burned gold. I could feel the hybrid power fighting back against her control. She lunged at Eva, and I moved to intercept my new strength, roaring to life. Eva closed her eyes, focusing every ounce of her will. She was going to rewrite the timeline. A wave of blue light exploded around her, and the world started to warp and shift. When the light faded, I wasn't in the courtyard anymore. I was 17 years in the past. She looked just like Eva, but her eyes were full of kindness, not the cold malice I knew. She was reading her diary, writing about the daughter she'd do anything to protect. I watched from the doorway, my heart racing. This was our only chance to fix everything. She spoke of raising her daughter, of a future full of hope, not the darkness that awaited her. My fists clenched so tight, my knuckles whitened. How could I let her become the monster we knew? A fit of racking coughs shook her. Her illness was already taking hold. I took a step forward, then froze. What if changing the past erased everything we loved? Her diary had a promise she'd never let darkness take her. But we knew how that promise broke. A nurse walked in, interrupting our moment. Time was running out to make our choice. I slipped back into the hallway, my mind made up we had to save her, no matter the cost. I summoned the time energy again. This time, we weren't just escaping, we were changing fate. She looked toward the doorway, like she could sense me, like she knew someone was there to save her. I finally traveled back 17 years, right to where my mother's nightmare began. There she was, young, fragile, holding the photo of me she'd always kept. I begged her, screamed that becoming a vampire would turn her into a monster, but she only smiled, said she'd do anything to watch me grow up. I could see her fear, but her love for me was stronger than anything. That's when he appeared, my father, carrying the blood that would curse her forever. He said it was the only way to save her life, to let her stay with me. She reached for it, her hand shaking, but her decision painfully clear. I tried to stop her, but my hands passed through like I wasn't even there. The transformation started, her skin paled, her fangs pushed through her gums. She screamed in agony, and I could do nothing but watch my mother slip away. Her eyes turned fully red, and the gentle mother I knew was gone forever. A force pulled me back, tearing me away from the past I tried so hard to change. When I opened my eyes, I was back in the present. Our pack was under brutal attack. Daniel was fighting for his life, but my mother's dark power was too strong. And there, on the ground, was my father lifeless, his final mission a failure. I felt my heart break, all that sacrifice, all that hope, shattered in an instant. But then I remembered her love. I couldn't give up, not on Daniel, not on her. I grabbed my silver dagger, ready to fight for the people I loved. This wasn't over. I would save them, no matter the cost. Clara raised her dagger, ready to deliver the final blow to Daniel. I leaped between them, ready to take the blow if it meant saving both of them. The pack fell silent, waiting to see if I could reach the mother still trapped inside. I reached out to her, begging her to remember the love she once had for me. I clutched Orpheus's locket tightly, ready to risk everything to save my mom and my love. The locket glowed with ancient power, pulling me back to the day my mother chose her fate. I landed in a hospital room, facing the gentle, sick version of my mom I barely remembered. I stepped closer, showing her the locket that held proof of the terrible fate she'd almost chosen. I told her everything, how she'd turn evil, how we'd lose each other if she became a vampire. Her eyes filled with tears as she realized the truth. She almost doomed us all. She squeezed my hand and whispered she'd choose a normal life, even if it meant leaving me sooner. The locket burst with blinding light, yanking me back to my own time, heart racing with hope. I stumbled into Daniel's bedroom, ready to run into his arms and tell him we'd won. But the note on his nightstand stopped me cold. He said he didn't know who I was. My hands shook as I read the words over and over. How could he forget me? We were fated mates. I crumpled to the floor, the room's wolf-themed decor suddenly feeling like a cruel joke. A shadow shifted, and Silas stepped out, his face grim. He knew exactly what had happened. He told me saving my mom had erased our fated bond. Daniel and I were strangers now. I looked out the window and saw him laughing with another wolf. He didn't even glance my way. I clutched the locket tighter. Had I traded one love to save another, only to lose both? Tears fell on the locket. Had I made the worst mistake of my life? Silas sighed and said the timeline change was permanent. There was no going back. But as I stared at the locket, a spark of hope ignited. I wouldn't let this be the end. I walked toward the door, ready to fight to get my mom and my mate back no matter the cost. The pack members in the hall walked past me like I was invisible. Our history was truly erased. I rested my hand on the silver dagger at my hip, ready to fight for the life I deserved. I watched him laugh with that wolf girl from the shadows, my chest tight with a pain I couldn't name. He looked so at ease, like he belonged with them, not with a broken hybrid like me. I wanted to run, to vanish, but something kept me rooted to the spot. That's when it happened. My hybrid aura slipped out, unbidden. I was a stranger in the world I was born into. Then his golden eyes locked onto mine. That familiar spark flickered in his gaze. He knew something was different about me, even if he couldn't place it. The woman beside him noticed his distraction, her smile fading fast. My aura flared brighter, impossible to ignore now, but the sound that made my blood run cold came from behind me. Those cold red eyes, she was no longer the mother I remembered. She stepped into the moonlight, and I saw the fangs, the pale skin. She was a vampire. The entire courtyard went silent. No one dared to move. Daniel stepped in front of the others, his golden eyes blazing with warning. Then she moved faster than I could blink, her dagger pressed to his throat. I didn't think I just moved, placing myself between them. Her face was empty, no trace of the gentle mother I'd lost. The fangs glinted in the moonlight. She was fully turned, fully lost. She told me the purge hunters attacked her, left her dying. She had no choice. She chose to turn, to survive at the cost of her humanity. Now she used his life to bargain with me. Surrender your powers, or he dies. Daniel's hand tightened on my shoulder. He was ready to fight, ready to die for me, but I wasn't going to let her win. Not this time. The moonlight cast long shadows, and I knew this was only the beginning. I thought I'd lost him forever until his eyes cleared, and I saw myself in them. Clara thought her mind control was unbreakable, but Daniel's hybrid blood gave him a way out. Her shock was clear. She never expected anyone to resist her power. I didn't hesitate, letting my lichen form take over, silver eyes blazing. Daniel joined me, his black wolf form matching my fury as we cornered her. We had her pinned, and I could feel her dark power fading away. Then I heard it, not the cold vampire voice, but my mom's gentle tone. Her red eyes softened, fading back to the blue I remembered from childhood. Tears filled her eyes, and she spoke the words I'd waited years to hear. She apologized, not just to me, but to everyone she'd hurt as a vampire. She said she had to leave to redeem other vampires who'd fall into darkness like she did. I watched her go, knowing this wasn't just a victory, it was a second chance. Daniel pulled me close, and for the first time in weeks, I felt truly safe. Our hands tangled together, a promise that we'd face whatever came next, together. The pack members emerged from the shadows, their eyes showing respect instead of fear. The room that once felt like a prison now felt like the start of something new. I thought our fight was over, but I didn't know how much more we'd face together. We stepped toward the door, ready for whatever the supernatural world would throw at us. The path ahead was uncertain, but I knew we'd face it as one. This wasn't the end, it was just the beginning of our real story. After all the chaos, Daniel took me to the pack house roof, away from the celebration below. The moon was bright, and for the first time in forever, I felt truly calm. Then he took my hand, and I noticed something glinting in his palm. Before I could speak, he dropped to one knee, my breath catching in my throat. He looked up at me, his golden wolf eyes soft, and asked the question I'd never dared to hope for. "Evangeline, will you marry me? For real this time, as my equal, not just a replacement." I couldn't speak, so I just nodded. Tears finally spilling down my cheeks. He pulled me into his arms, and the pack below cheered, even though they couldn't see us. But just as we pulled apart, a familiar voice made me freeze. Orpheus, alive, standing in the shadows. He smiled, and I realized the timeline had truly been fixed. He was here, alive and well. He stepped into the moonlight, his tattered velvet coat fluttering slightly in the night wind. "You fixed the timeline, child," he said, his voice warm with pride. "But there's one more thing you need to know. You're not the only hybrid in the world." My eyes widened in shock after all this time. I wasn't alone in this. I stepped forward, my voice trembling as I asked, "Who are they? Where are they?" Orpheus looked out at the night sky, his expression growing serious. "They're descendants of my family, hidden across the world, hunted for centuries." He held out the map, and I realized this was my new mission, to find and protect them. As I took the map, the pack below cheered again, unaware of the new journey ahead of us. I looked at Daniel, then at Orpheus, and knew this was just the beginning of our real story. Daniel squeezed my hand, silently promising he'd stand by me through every step. The stars were bright above us, and for the first time, I felt truly hopeful about the future. Orpheus dropped a bombshell that changed everything. We weren't alone in this world. He pulled out a map covered in marks, each one a hybrid like me, scattered across the globe. These were his family's descendants, hunted for centuries just for being different from others. In that moment, I knew my true purpose, to build a safe haven for every last hybrid. Daniel squeezed my hand, silent but unwavering. Silas nodded, ready to help however he could. We weren't just fighting for ourselves anymore. We were fighting for a whole community. Orpheus pointed to a hidden valley, the perfect sanctuary, far from human towns and hunters. This valley would be our home, a place where we could finally live without fear. Below, the pack celebrated happily, completely unaware of the war we were about to wage. Just as we began to plan, my phone rang. It was my stepmother, her voice frantic with fear. My sister had been captured by rogue hunters, the same monsters who hate all supernaturals. She'd run away to find her fated mate, and those hunters had trapped her. I grabbed my silver dagger, ready to storm their camp and bring her home right then. I wasn't going to lose anyone else. Not after everything we'd already survived. But Daniel stepped in front of me, his golden eyes blazing. We weren't going into this alone. Silas pulled out his silver stake disguised as a pen, already sharpening it with cold resolve. We were outnumbered, but we had something they didn't: family and a reason to fight. As we raced toward the hunter camp, I prayed with all my heart we'd reach her in time. Those hunters had no clue who they were messing with. A hybrid army was coming for them. This was only the start of our fight, but we were ready to win, no matter the cost. Orpheus had spent centuries hiding from these hunters, too afraid to protect his own. This Mark was a 10-year-old girl, hiding alone in a mountain town, scared for her life. I couldn't bear to imagine what that child was going through, all alone and hunted. Daniel pulled me close, promising we'd find that girl and every other hybrid like her. For the first time in centuries, Orpheus finally looked like he had hope for the future. Daniel and I snuck into the rogue hunters' camp. My sister was their prisoner, and we had to act fast. The camp crawled with hunters, all armed with silver weapons made to destroy hybrids like me. There she was, tied up and terrified. I could feel her panic through our shared bond. I moved silently through the shadows, every muscle coiled, ready to fight if I was discovered. Daniel shifted into his wolf form and attacked, drawing all the hunters' attention away from me. I reached my sister and cut her bonds, whispering that we had to run before the hunters realized their mistake. She hugged me tight, crying that she was sorry for making me marry Daniel against my will. But a hunter spotted us, raising his silver pistol and aiming right at my heart. I didn't think I just used my time powers, slowing the bullet midair so I could dodge. I grabbed my sister's hand and ran, the hunters shouting and firing silver bullets at our heels. Daniel finished off the last hunter, shifted back to human form, and caught up to us, growling that we needed to run. We made it back to the pack, shaken but alive. My sister never let go of my hand. Before we could catch our breath, Silas came running, his face tight with urgent news. He said the Vampire King had heard about my time-traveling powers and he demanded to meet the hybrid who could manipulate time. The Vampire King? The most powerful vampire in the world wanted to see me? This couldn't be good. The pack members murmured among themselves, all wary of what the Vampire King could want with one of us. Daniel stood beside me, growling softly that he would go with me no matter what danger the king posed. My sister squeezed my hand, saying she was coming too. She owed me, and she wasn't letting me face this alone. Together, we set out to meet the Vampire King, ready to face whatever dark danger came our way. In the distance, I could see his castle, dark, imposing, and full of secrets I was about to uncover. I gripped my silver dagger tight, knowing that whatever lay ahead, I wouldn't back down. Daniel's wolf claw necklace glinted in the moon, his promise to protect me, no matter what. I thought we'd finally found safety, until a shadow blocked the dawn sun. Daniel's growl rumbled beside me. This stranger wore a crown forged from bat wings. His red eyes locked on mine, and I felt the weight of centuries of power. He didn't come to fight, he came with a proposition that would change everything. An alliance to take down a rogue vampire who'd hunted our kind for centuries. This wasn't just vengeance, this rogue had wiped out Orpheus's entire family. I didn't hesitate. We needed this alliance more than I'd ever needed anything. He handed me a tattered map marked with the rogue's hidden lair deep in the mountains. Daniel nodded beside me. We were finally on the same side, fighting for the same cause. But we weren't the only ones listening. A shadow moved in the darkness. I didn't see him coming until the cold bite of silver pierced my gut. Pain exploded through me silver. The one thing that could truly hurt a hybrid like me. I stumbled back, vision blurring. Daniel's roar echoed as he lunged for the hunter. I tried to speak, but only blood came up. The world started to fade to black. I hit the ground hard, and the last thing I saw was Daniel's black fur as he tore the hunter away. The Vampire King's eyes widened. He hadn't expected this attack either. Daniel's paws curled around me gently, and I felt him running to save my life. My hand went limp, and I could feel the silver's poison spreading through my veins. The pack followed, but the king stayed his alliance offer, now hanging by a thread. I slipped into darkness, but not before I heard Daniel's howl, raw, desperate, full of rage. The next thing I knew, I was in the pack's infirmary, silver still burning in my veins. Silas held out a glowing green vial, his special hybrid healing potion. The potion burned going down, but not like the silver. This was healing fire. The Vampire King followed close behind his map, still in hand, his offer still on the table. We leaned over the map together, our alliance solidified, even after the attack. The lair was hidden deep in the mountains remote, perfect for a rogue who wanted to stay unseen. I sat up, silver's burn fading, and felt a fire in my chest. We were going to end this. Daniel's silver claw necklace glinted in the light. He was ready to fight, too. Silas pulled out his silver stake disguised as a pen. We were armed, and we were ready. The Vampire King's red eyes burned with resolve. He'd been hunting this rogue for decades. We left the infirmary together, our small army, marching to take down the rogue once and for all. The pack lined the path, cheering us on. This wasn't just our fight, it was everyone's. Daniel squeezed my hand, and I knew no matter what happened, we'd face it together. The Vampire King raised his hand. and bats filled the sky, his army, coming to join ours. Our army grew werewolves, vampires, hybrids. We were ready to take back our safety. The mountains loomed ahead, dark, dangerous, and full of secrets. I stood before our army and yelled, "We fight for our kind! We fight for our home!" The army roared back, their voices echoing through the mountains. We were unstoppable. We marched into the mountains. Our journey to end the rogue had officially begun. I kept my eyes sharp, scanning every shadow. We couldn't afford another surprise attack. Daniel stayed close, in his wolf form, his golden eyes scanning the trees for danger. Silas and the king walked behind us, whispering tactics. We had a plan, and we were sticking to it. Then I spotted it, fresh vampire blood on the ground. The rogue was close. I held up a hand, and the army stopped. The air grew thick with tension. We were in his territory now. And there it was, the cave mouth, hidden behind rocks, dark and foreboding. I gripped my silver dagger tighter. This was it. This was where we ended this. I stepped into the cave, Daniel right behind me. The army followed, their weapons ready. Bats flew up from the darkness, and red eyes glowed in the shadows. The rogue wasn't alone. Daniel growled beside me, and I felt my fangs descend. The fight was about to begin. I looked into the darkness, and knew, no matter what, we were going to win. This was our destiny. The pain was excruciating. This hunter almost ended me right then and there. I thought it was over until Daniel Fang's beard launched at the hunter like a force of nature. Then Silas was there, holding that glowing potion that would pull me back from the brink. He poured it down my throat, and the pain started to fade slowly, but surely. When I could finally sit up, Daniel was right there, guarding me like I was everything. Silas didn't waste time. He told me about the Purge, who hunt all supernaturals, especially hybrids like me. They don't just want to kill us, they want to erase every last hybrid from existence. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just my fight, it was for every hybrid who couldn't defend themselves. Just as we planned, my phone rang Orpheus, with news that made my heart drop. He said a 10-year-old hybrid girl was trapped, and the Purge was closing in fast. I didn't hesitate. That girl was one of us. I wasn't letting her die like I almost did. Daniel rallied our fighters. Silas grabbed his silver stake. We were going to war. The hybrid girl we saved before grabbed her own stake, ready to fight beside us. As we walked to the SUV, Daniel stayed close, never letting me out of his sight. We left the valley behind, our resolve unshakable. This was only the first battle. The SUV rumbled to life, and I gripped the handle, ready to face whatever waited in that town. Inside the car, the air was thick with tension. None of us knew what we'd find, but we had to try. We drove through winding mountain roads, getting closer to the quiet town, and the danger lurking there. I stared out the window, thinking of that scared girl. I wouldn't let her face this alone. Then we saw it, the small town, quiet and still. But I could feel danger in every shadow. I held up a hand to stop the SUV. We had to go in quiet, no sense alerting the Purge early. Daniel nodded, his golden eyes glowing slightly. We were in this together, no matter what. We all climbed out, weapons in hand, ready to face the darkness hiding in that town. That cabin held a 10-year-old hybrid girl, trapped by the Purge. We had to break her out no matter what it cost. The Purge had the whole area surrounded, every exit blocked. One wrong move would get us killed. Through the window, I saw her white fur, silver eyes, just like me. She was terrified, trapped, alone. Daniel and Silas would create a distraction. My job was to sneak in, grab her, and get out fast. We split up, each moving to our positions. Failure wasn't an option for her, and for us. Daniel let out a thunderous wolf-like howl, drawing every Purge member's eye. The distraction was on. Silas followed, firing silver stakes to keep them busy. They had no time to check the cabin. I slipped through the back door, moving silently through the dark cabin. My heart hammered in my chest. She turned to growl at me, but stopped when she saw my eyes. She recognized a hybrid, like herself. I held out my hand, calming her. We had to leave now before they realized we'd tricked them. She shifted back to human, small and scared. I wrapped her in my coat, picking her up gently. As we snuck out, I heard the Purge shouting. They'd figured out the distraction was a trick. Daniel and Silas joined us, cuts covering their arms. They'd fought hard to keep the hunters busy. We ran through the forest, the Purge's footsteps close behind us. We had to reach the pack borders fast. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, running ahead to clear our path. His black fur was a blur against the trees. We finally reached the pack borders. Our members were waiting, weapons ready to defend us. The pack cheered as we walked in. They welcomed her, another hybrid, one of us, finally safe. Just as we relaxed, Silas ran to me, holding a message from the Vampire King. Rogue vampires had attacked his castle. He needed my time powers to stop them before it was too late. I looked at the girl, then at Daniel. My mission wasn't over yet. I had to go help him. The girl grabbed my coat, scared to be left alone again. I promised her I'd come back, safe. Daniel stood beside me, saying he'd come with me. We'd face whatever was next together. Daniel and I stepped into the Vampire King's castle, and the stench of blood hit me instantly. The rogue vampire had been slaughtering the king's guards without any mercy. This rogue was stronger, more feral than any we'd ever faced before. I knew I had to use my time powers to stop him before more lives were lost. Time froze around us, trapping the rogue mid-attack, completely helpless. Daniel didn't hesitate. He began shifting into his wolf form right away. In seconds, he was a massive black wolf, golden eyes glowing with fierce rage. He lunged at the frozen rogue, claws bared, ready to deliver the killing blow. His jaws clamped down on the rogue's neck, ending its reign of terror in an instant. I released my time hold, letting reality snap back into its proper flow. From the shadows stepped the Vampire King, his batwing crown glinting in the dim light. He bowed deeply to us, his voice filled with gratitude for saving his castle. Then, a terrible vision flashed before my eyes, something dark waiting in the future. The Purge was hunting every hybrid alive, and they would kill me too. I felt fear in my bones, but it quickly hardened into unshakable resolve. I turned to the king, telling him we needed to build a safe haven for all hybrids. He didn't hesitate. He pledged his full support to our vital cause. With the King's alliance, we had the power to make our safe haven a reality. The castle that was once a place of death now became a beacon of hope. We couldn't wait another second. We had to start building. Right now. Daniel stood beside me, ready to face whatever challenges came our way. The King's guards began clearing the halls, restoring order to the once terrifying castle. We walked toward the castle entrance, ready to start our most important mission yet. Our journey to protect every hybrid alive had officially begun. I knew the road ahead would be hard, but we would never back down. I gathered every supernatural ally we had. We were building a safe haven. No more hiding, no more running. We were making a home. Daniel called every alpha he knew. We needed all the help we could get. Silas reached out to vampire covens. Even they knew the Purge was a threat. Then she stepped forward. This 10-year-old hybrid wanted to fight. She wasn't scared. She was ready to protect our new home. I handed her a silver stake. She was one of us now, a guardian. Her grip was tight. She wasn't going to let anyone hurt us. Then the alarms blared. Red light flooded every corner of the room. Every head turned to the door. We all knew what this meant. Silas burst in, his face pale with fear. They're here, the Purge. They'd brought an army of hunters and controlled werewolves. I looked out the window. Their army stretched as far as the eye could see. The werewolves they controlled, their eyes were empty, no trace of themselves left. I felt my fangs extend. This wasn't just about our home, it was about survival. Daniel shifted beside me, his wolf form ready to tear through our enemies. Every hybrid in the room grabbed a weapon. We were ready to fight back. We formed a line. No more running. This time, we were fighting for our lives. I looked at every face in that room. We weren't just allies, we were family. The door creaked open. The first hunter stepped inside, and we attacked. The young girl led the charge. She didn't hesitate for a second. Daniel and I fought back to back. We were unstoppable together. The room erupted into chaos. But we didn't break. We fought like our lives depended on it. As I drove a stake into a hunter's chest, I knew this was just the beginning of the war. I stood at the front of our hybrid army, time powers flaring to slow our enemies. The Purge's army was twice our size, but we wouldn't back down an inch. Time slowed around me. Every enemy movement crystal clear in my vision. The young hybrid girl fought beside me, her speed taking down hunters left and right. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, tearing through their ranks with pure rage. My time powers surged, slowing every enemy to a crawl, giving us the upper hand. Our hybrid army pushed forward, driving the Purge back with every strike. Silas took down the last controlled werewolf, its body falling lifeless to the ground. The remaining Purge members fled, defeated, and scattered into the woods. We cheered, hugging each other, finally believing we'd won this battle. The young hybrid girl handed me a silver stake, grinning she'd killed her first hunter. I looked at Daniel, his golden eyes soft with pride, and felt a flicker of peace. Our victory felt sweet, like we'd finally turned the tide against the Purge. But my joy shattered when I spotted a familiar face in the shadows, my sister. She stood with a Purge hunter, a silver dagger pressed to his throat, her expression unreadable. My blood ran cold, her eyes glowed red, the mark of her vampire hybrid form fully active. Her face held no hint of the sister I'd once known, only cold, twisted intent. I stepped forward, my hand hovering over my own silver dagger, unsure what to do. She didn't move to attack us, but she didn't look away, either holding that hunter hostage. I thought the worst was over. But clearly, this was only the beginning of something far darker. I sat by her bed, guilt weighing on me. I should have seen my sister's betrayal coming. Silas didn't mince words. He said my sister had always hated me. Jealousy festered in her since we were kids. She wanted everything I had. Daniel stormed in, rage in his golden eyes. He wanted to put a bounty on her. I stopped him. I couldn't let him hunt my own sister. Not yet. I believed she could be saved. But there was good still left in her. The young hybrid girl squeezed my hand. She said she knew what it felt like to be alone. She said she'd help me. That no one should have to fight alone. The infirmary fell quiet. We all knew this was a risk, but it was one we had to take. Just as we were about to leave, my phone buzzed. It was my sister. She'd taken over a small werewolf pack. And she had their alpha hostage. She demanded I come alone, or she'd kill him without hesitation. I knew it was a trap, but I couldn't let an innocent alpha die for my mistakes. Daniel stepped beside me, growling softly. He said we were mates, we fought together. The room fell quiet again. Everyone knew what this meant. We were walking into danger. I told him to stay behind, but he wouldn't listen. Not this time. We grabbed our weapons, ready to face whatever was waiting for us. Silas handed me a healing potion. "Just in case," he said. The young hybrid girl followed, her silver stake ready. She wasn't going to let us go alone. We left the infirmary, the weight of what we were about to do hanging over us. Another message popped up. "Come alone," it said, "or the Alpha dies." Daniel's wolf eyes glowed. He was ready to fight, no matter what. I gripped my silver dagger tightly. This time, we weren't just fighting for ourselves. We headed toward the border of Safe Haven. The pack needed us, and we wouldn't let them down. The small pack was miles away, but we could feel the tension in the air. I froze as I saw my sister she'd joined the purge, her face twisted with jealousy. All she ever wanted was what I had: my mate, my powers, my place. She lunged at me, screaming that I didn't deserve any of it. I thought it was over until a flash of white pushed me out of the way. The dagger sank into her shoulder instead of mine. I heard her cry out in pain. Blood pooled around her. I felt a rage so hot it burned through my veins. My hybrid powers flared, red eyes glowing as I stared down my traitorous sister. She ran, vanishing into the trees before I could reach her. I let her go for now. I held her close, my hands shaking. This war was far from over. Her hand weakly gripped my shirt. "I'm okay," she whispered, voice trembling. Tears burned my eyes. I'd almost lost her because of my sister's jealousy. The purge was retreating, but the damage was done. We'd won the battle, not the war. I used my hybrid healing powers, warm light wrapping around her wound. I stood, carrying her back to the pack. We had to heal, and prepare for what came next. I stared in the direction she'd run. One day, we'd face each other again. The pack tended to our wounded, their faces grim. We all knew the truth now. We reached the infirmary, the smell of antiseptic and wolfsbane filling the air. The healers took her, laying her on a cot. I didn't leave her side. Her wound healed fast, thanks to her hybrid powers. She'd be okay. I sat by her side, exhaustion washing over me. This war would cost us everything. Outside, the pack howled at the moon, a sound of grief and of defiance. I stroked her hair, promising to protect her, to protect everyone. Her eyes fluttered open, a small smile on her face. "I knew you'd save me," she said. I squeezed her hand, my resolve hardening. We'd finish this, together. Outside the infirmary, the pack prepared for the next attack. We wouldn't be caught off guard again. We walked into the small pack house, not knowing it was a trap set by my sister and the purge. There she was, my sister, standing with the purge, her eyes glowing with hunger for power. She wanted to be Alpha, just like Daniel, using an innocent Alpha as her leverage. I tried to reason with her, but her heart was twisted by the purge's lies. But the purge leader was there, holding a silver dagger to her back, forcing her to obey. I had no choice. I activated my time powers, freezing the purge where they stood. One by one, the purge froze, their bodies trapped in my time prison. For a moment, her true self broke through. She looked at me, guilt flooding her eyes. She begged for forgiveness, saying she'd help us take down the purge to make amends. Daniel freed the innocent Alpha, while my sister and I prepared to face the remaining threat. But the leader was stronger. He broke free from my time hold, something dark pulsing through him. He held a silver bomb engraved with wolf symbols, its fuse already smoking. My sister tried to grab it, but he knocked her back like she was nothing. I pushed my time powers to the limit, slowing down time to give us a chance. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, lunging at the leader with golden glowing claws. My sister seized her chance, stabbing his leg with a silver dagger, buying us time. I grabbed the bomb, using my time powers to freeze the smoking fuse. But the leader wasn't done. He pulled another dagger, aiming for my back. Daniel took the blow for me, his golden eyes turning red with rage as he roared. I unleashed every ounce of my power, freezing him completely, his body locked in time. I knelt beside Daniel, tears mixing with the blood on his fur, fearing the worst. My sister handed me a healing potion, her voice breaking as she begged me to save him. The pack arrived, surrounding the frozen purge, ready to finish what we started. I poured the potion down his throat, watching his wound close as his breathing stabilized. My sister was taken to face her punishment, but she looked at me with gratitude, not hatred. I froze as my sister snatched the silver bomb she was going to sacrifice herself to make amends. I lunged for her, screaming she didn't have to die, but she vanished through the door before I could reach her. I stumbled to the door, my voice cracking as I watched her disappear into the dark woods. She ran like the hounds of hell were chasing her, determined to atone for her betrayal. Daniel and Silas reached my side, but none of us could move fast enough to catch up. She skidded to a stop at the riverbank, the bomb slipping in her grasp as she fought to steady herself. With a final scream, she pulled the pin and hurled the bomb into the river's depths. The bomb exploded in a flash of silver light, sending water and debris flying into the air. The shockwave threw her backward, and blood bloomed across her chest. She'd been hit by a silver bullet. Her eyes glazed over, but she lifted her gaze to me, struggling to speak her final words. I ran faster than I ever had, my heart breaking with every step, praying I'd reach her in time. I fell to my knees beside her, grasping her cold hand as she gasped out her apology. "I'm sorry," she whispered, tears mixing with the blood streaming down her face. I pulled her into my arms, sobbing that I forgave her, that she was still my sister. Daniel shifted into his wolf form and tore through the purge leader, avenging my sister's death. The hunter leader crumpled to the ground, his reign of terror finally over. Daniel shifted back and knelt beside me, but I couldn't tear my eyes from my sister's body. A tear fell on her cheek, and her eyes closed for the last time, her body going limp in my arms. The sun set behind us, painting the river red as I held her. Knowing she'd finally found redemption, I clutched her silver dagger, vowing to honor her memory and keep fighting for our kind. I stand over my sister's grave, finally laying her to rest after all the chaos. Daniel stays by my side, quiet support when I need it most. I thought this would bring peace, but the ache in my chest won't fade. A soft step breaks the silence. Our young hybrid ally has come to find me. She's not just a survivor, she's family, just like all the hybrids we protect. She hands me a drawing of us, together, like we were meant to be. For a moment, I almost forget all the pain she captured, the warmth we lost. Daniel pulls me close, reminding me I'm never alone in this fight. I leave the drawing on her grave, proof that even in death, she's with us. A sharp pain seizes my head, another vision, darker than the last. The Purge's leader isn't gone, he's back, with something far worse than silver stakes. His army grows stronger, and they're coming for every last hybrid in the world. I snap back to reality. Gasping, Daniel's grip keeps me from falling. Daniel's golden eyes lock with mine. He knows what I saw, and he won't back down. Our young ally stands ready. Stake in hand, she's learned well how to fight. We stand together, 3 against an army, but we won't be alone for long. We made a promise to build a safe haven, and we won't let anyone destroy it. The war isn't over, it was just the beginning. But we're ready. We walk toward our safe haven, toward our family, ready to face whatever comes next. I can see the safe haven's lights ahead home, where we'll fight, heal, and hope. We built our safe haven, but the Purge isn't done with us yet. They've got a silver cannon that can wipe out every hybrid in miles. Daniel will lead the wolves to draw their fire. Silas and I will slip in. Daniel's ready to lead his pack into the fire for us. Silas is bringing his silver stake. He's not taking any chances. The young hybrid girl stepped forward. She wanted in too. I couldn't say no. She's already proven her courage. We moved through the trees, quiet as shadows, closing in on their camp. That's when I heard it, a voice I thought I'd never hear again. My sister, she was alive, and she'd become an immortal hybrid. I watched her die. But the Purge had turned her into something new. She said she was immortal now, and she wasn't on our side. Silas readied his silver stake. He wasn't letting her hurt us. The young hybrid shifted into her lichen form, ready to fight. We thought we were ready for the Purge, but we never expected her. She blamed me for everything, for our mother, for her fate. I tried to reason with her, to remind her we were family, but she laughed. She'd already chosen the dark side. Then we heard it, the cannon was charging, ready to fire. I had a choice, save my sister, or save every hybrid in the valley. I never expected my sister to attack me. She'd been turned into a vampire hybrid by the Purge. Her eyes glowed red, her face twisted with the Purge's control. I had to fight the sister I once loved. I shifted into my vampire form, fangs bared. This wasn't my sister anymore, this was a monster. We clashed, our hybrid powers exploding. Every blow hurt more than the last. Then I heard it, Daniel's wolves, attacking the Purge camp to distract them. Silas and the young hybrid girl raced to destroy the cannon before it fired. My sister lunged, silver dagger aimed at my heart. I barely dodged in time. Daniel's wolves tore through the Purge soldiers, giving us the chance we needed. I grabbed her wrist, staring into her eyes. "Wake up!" I screamed, begging her to remember. For a second, her red eyes faded to blue. She recognized me then. The controls snapped back. The young hybrid girl used her fire powers to melt the cannon's supports. Silas drove his silver stake into the cannon's core, trying to disable it. The battlefield was chaos wolves, hybrids, and Purge soldiers all fighting for survival. I used my time powers, slowing everything around me. I had to break the Purge's control. I pressed my hand to her forehead, pouring all my time energy into breaking their hold. Her eyes cleared, the red glow gone. She was my sister again, scared and confused. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. "I'm sorry," she repeated over and over. Then the cannon fired. A hybrid-killing bullet shot straight for safe haven. I ran as fast as I could, but it was already too late. I channeled every last bit of my time powers, freezing the bullet midair. The bullet hung there, frozen in time, glowing with the force of my power. Daniel reached my side, his golden eyes wide with fear. "Did you stop it?" he asked. Silas and the girl joined us, yelling that the cannon was finally destroyed. I released my hold. The bullet dropped harmlessly to the ground, useless. We'd won this battle, but I knew the Purge would be back. And next time, they'd be stronger. I thought I'd lost everything, but time gave me one last chance to fight back. Purge's cannon was about to wipe out our safe haven, and I had to stop it before it was too late. With a surge of my time powers, I froze every single bullet mid-air, hanging like deadly stars. Silas and the young hybrid girl weren't far behind, armed with silver bombs to destroy the cannon. Every second counted, and one wrong move would mean the end for everyone I loved. The power coursing through my veins burned hot, but I held on for our home, for our future. Bullets hung frozen in the air, a silent testament to the power I'd only just learned to control. Silas and the girl moved like shadows, their silver bombs glinting in the dim light of battle. The cannon erupted in a burst of silver light, shattering into 1,000 pieces before it could fire. Daniel's wolves tore through the remaining purge members, their snarls echoing across the valley. No mercy was needed. These hunters had shown none to us when we were at our weakest. Amidst the chaos, I heard a voice I thought I'd never hear again, my sister, asking for forgiveness. I stared at her, seeing not the traitor she'd been, but the sister I'd grown up with. I didn't trust her yet, but I gave her a chance to redeem herself, to make things right. She said she was leaving to save other supernatural beings trapped by the purge, and I let her go. Just as the battle ended, a vision hit me. Something far worse than the purge was coming. They called themselves the Hunters of the Eclipse, and they wanted to erase all supernatural life from the world. I could feel their presence already, dark and hungry, closing in on us from every direction. Our safe haven had survived the purge, but the real war was only just beginning. And I swore right then that I would protect everyone, no matter what it cost me. Daniel and I stood side by side, our powers combining to create an unbreakable front. Silas was already preparing for the next fight, his silver stake ready for whatever came our way. The young hybrid girl was growing stronger every day, proving herself to be a fierce ally. We started rebuilding immediately, strengthening our defenses for the storm we knew was coming. I thought we'd finally found peace, but an ancient nightmare just woke up. We gathered in our war room, facing a threat we never saw coming. The Hunters of the Eclipse. Ancient, ruthless, and now fully awake. Our youngest hybrid volunteered to scout, fearless even in the face of death. We had no idea they were already here, watching us from the shadows. A searing pain tore through my gut. I looked down and saw the silver dagger, silver forged to kill hybrids like me. They'd infiltrated our most secure space. Daniel reacted instantly, his wolf instincts taking over to protect me. Silas drew his hidden silver stake, ready to take down any hunter in his path. They were everywhere. Our walls meant nothing to these ancient killers. My vampire side roared to life, ready to fight for my home and my family. Our youngest warrior didn't hesitate, charging straight into the fray. The Vampire King unleashed his ancient magic, turning the tide of the fight. Daniel fully shifted into his wolf form, tearing through our enemies like they were nothing. I pulled the silver dagger from my gut, ignoring the pain to keep fighting. They retreated, but we all knew this was only the first attack. Silas used his healing potion to stop my bleeding, saving me from a slow death. I stared at their symbol, knowing our fight was far from over. We regrouped, planning our defense against an enemy we barely understood. The alarms blared again. They were already attacking our outer walls. This was just the beginning. I thought that was it, bleeding out on the safe haven floor, my vision fading fast. Then she shifted our young hybrid guardian, fangs bared and claws glinting in the sun. The hunter who stabbed me froze. He never expected a child to fight back like this. Daniel didn't hesitate. His wolf form exploded into the fray, protecting our home. Silas was right behind him, his silver stake carving through the intruders one by one. They dragged me to safety, shoving a glowing green healing potion down my throat. The pain vanished instantly, the wound knitting back together like it never happened. That's when we learned the truth. Those hunters weren't after us. They wanted my time powers. They planned to steal my ability to manipulate time, to weaponize it for their dark goals. Silas looked grim. He knew this wasn't the end, just the start of something bigger. Before we could plan defense, a scout sprinted in, panic etched into every line of his face. The Hunters of the Eclipse had attacked the Vampire King's castle, taken his queen hostage. They'd stormed the gates, slaughtered the guards, and chained the queen in their dungeons. Daniel looked at me, and I knew we couldn't abandon them. We had to mount a rescue. We rallied our forces, hybrids, werewolves, and vampires who'd joined our safe haven. I grabbed my silver dagger, the cold metal a familiar comfort in my shaking hand. We moved out at dawn, marching toward the vampire castle, the air thick with tension. The Vampire King would be waiting, his army decimated, his hope fading fast. As we approached, the air grew cold, thick with the scent of blood and fear. I could feel their eyes on us, the hunters waiting inside, ready to trap us in their lair. Daniel shifted first, his wolf form towering, ready to lead the charge through the gates. Our small army readied their weapons, ready to fight for the queen, and for our future. We're storming the vampire castle, our mission. Rescue the queen before it's too late. Daniel's wolves and our hybrid army have my back, but hunters are waiting for us inside. The castle halls reek of death. Hunters have already torn through the vampire guards. We move silently toward the throne room where the queen's being held hostage. The throne room's guarded tight, and their leader's got a plan we won't like. I can feel my time powers surging. This is how we turn the tide. Freeze time. I trap the hunters mid-attack, giving us our window to strike. Maintaining the freeze takes everything, but I can't let them break free. I dart past the frozen hunters straight to the queen. She's terrified, but alive. Daniel and his wolves pounce on the remaining hunters, no mercy for our enemies. Daniel's claws tear through their defenses. He's not holding back. Our hybrid fighters and wolves make quick work of the rest. Soon the room's clear. The Vampire King arrives, relief flooding his face. We saved his queen. He rushes to her side, untying her bonds. She's shaken, but safe. He bows to us, swearing eternal gratitude, but I don't feel safe yet. Then it hits me a vision, clearer than anything I've ever seen. The hunters have a weapon, one that opens doors to a dimension where we don't exist. They plan to banish every supernatural creature there to erase us entirely. I snap back to reality, my blood running cold. This is worse than anything we've faced. Everyone turns to me, waiting for me to speak, and I know we're far from done. I tell them everything, the weapon, the dimension, the plan, to erase us all. Gasps echo through the room. No one expected a threat this big. Daniel growls, his golden eyes blazing. He won't let anyone hurt our kind. The king orders his guards to mobilize. We need every fighter we can get. We gather our forces, ready to hunt down that weapon before it's too late. We were gathered in safe haven, plotting to take down the hunters and their dimension weapon. Every hybrid in that room knew what was at stake, our freedom, our lives. But the hunter's base was hidden well. We were running out of time. I stepped closer to the map, trying to spot any clue we might have missed. We thought we were alone in this fight, until the doors slammed open. It was Orpheus and my mother, Clara. I never expected them to show up here. She had been working with Orpheus, redeeming corrupted vampires all this time. She wasn't the monster I once feared. She was trying to make amends, and they brought something we desperately needed, a map to the hunter's hidden base. Finally, we had a lead. We could stop the dimension weapon before it was too late. The base was hidden deep in the mountains, far from any human settlement. Silas confirmed it matched the intel he'd gathered. The map was legitimate. Even the young hybrid girl was ready to fight. We weren't backing down. I turned to grab my weapons, ready to head out at dawn. But just as we finalized our plan, the comms crackled to life. It was a voice I recognized, my sister's. She sounded breathless. She'd been tracking the hunters on her own, against our wishes. I felt my blood run cold. She could have gotten herself killed. "Where are you?" I demanded. "Tell me right now." She told me she'd found the hunter's base, but she wasn't alone anymore. The line went dead before she could say more. We had to go, now. We grabbed our weapons and gear, moving faster than ever before. My mother handed me her dagger, a silent promise to fight together. I led the charge out of the war room, my sister's safety on my mind. We had no idea what we'd find at the base, but we couldn't turn back. 6 of us, sneaking into the hunter's fortress. My time powers are our only shield. Each of us carries a deadly skill. Failure isn't an option this time. Guards patrol every corner. They'll tear us apart if we're caught. I unfurled my time powers, wrapping us in an invisible shield. We slipped past the guards like ghosts. The target was getting closer. A familiar hatred filled the air. It was my sister, but she wasn't herself. She was working for the hunters, lunging for my throat with a silver dagger. I spotted the control mark on her neck. She's being manipulated. I channeled my time powers, targeting the control hold on her mind. Her red eyes faded to blue, but we had no time to wait. We had to move. The floor shifted beneath us. A spike trap, primed to impale anyone who stepped wrong. I froze the trap mid-trigger, giving us time to leap over the deadly spikes. Footsteps echoed ahead. More hunters, coming our way fast. Silas drew his silver stake, disguised as a pen, ready to fight if we were discovered. We squeezed into a shadowed alcove, holding our breath as the hunter squad marched past. A blue glow seeped from a door ahead. That was the dimensional weapon we needed. We sprinted to the door, our hearts pounding. This was the moment we'd been fighting for. My hand wrapped around the doorknob. Whatever was inside, we had to destroy it. The door creaked open, revealing the massive dimensional weapon, pulsing with blue energy. Red alarms blared to life. We'd been discovered. Now we had to destroy it before they did. I locked eyes with the weapon. My time powers would be the key to destroying it. Orpheus and Clara moved to cut the energy lines, distracting the weapon's defenses. The young hybrid girl drew her silver stake, ready to fend off the incoming hunters. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, roaring as he prepared to block the door from the hunters. I unleashed my full-time powers, wrapping the weapon in a field of warped time. This would end it. I finally reached the dimension weapon chamber. But my sister was already there, eyes glowing red. She wasn't my sister anymore. She was a puppet of the hunters, dagger raised to strike. I didn't want to hurt her, but I had no choice if we both wanted to live. I dodged her strike, my time powers flaring as I tried to break the control. The weapon hummed behind us, growing brighter with every passing second. I grabbed her wrist, forcing the dagger away, and called out her real name. For a second, her red eyes faded to blue. She was fighting the control. I pulled her into a hug, whispering that everything would be okay if she fought with me. But the weapon had already reached critical mass. It was going to activate any second. I channeled all my time powers, wrapping us both in a blue light to rewrite history. We were back on her wedding day, the day she ran away from Daniel and her pack. I told her what would happen if she ran, how the hunters would twist her into a weapon. She hesitated, then turned and walked back into the church, choosing to face her fate. The world shifted around us, and we were back in the weapon chamber. The weapon was silent now, its light gone. We'd stopped it before it could destroy everything, my sister cried, apologizing for everything she'd done while under their control. But our victory was short-lived. The hunter's leader was standing in the doorway. He didn't waste a second. He lunged for the young hybrid girl who'd followed us. He grabbed her arm before I could react, his grip like iron around her wrist. He dragged her out of the room, yelling that we'd never get her back alive. My time powers flared to life. I wasn't going to let him take her from us. I froze the hunter leader with my time powers. This was our only chance to end this. Daniel lunged, his wolf strength making every blow count. The young hybrid girl broke free. She wasn't going down without a fight. We ran, Daniel covering our backs as we fled the icy prison. The remaining hunters surrendered. Their reign of terror was over. Or so we thought. The leader broke free, his eyes burning with rage. I grabbed his own silver dagger. Justice would be served. He fell. the light fading from his eyes. The Eclipse Hunters were finished. We reunited. Bruised but alive, we'd won, at last. We headed back to Safe Haven home, at last. As we entered Safe Haven, I felt a sense of peace I'd never known before. The Vampire King declared a permanent alliance. We weren't alone anymore. But then, a vision hit me, of a newborn hybrid, more powerful than any of us. I looked at Daniel. We knew what this meant. A new chapter was beginning. The valley celebrated, but I knew our work was far from over. The young hybrid girl stood beside me. She'd be ready, no matter what came. Daniel pulled me close. Whatever the future held, we'd face it together. That child would need us, and we'd be there, every step of the way. The alliance was sealed. Supernatural kind would stand united from now on. As fireworks lit the sky, I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt hope. But I kept my dagger close. Peace was fragile, and I'd protect it with my life. I thought we'd finally found peace at Safe Haven, until my body gave me the biggest surprise yet. Everyone was celebrating our hard-won safety, dancing and laughing under the starry sky. Then a strange flutter in my stomach stopped me cold. I knew instantly what it meant. Daniel noticed my face drop and raced over, his golden eyes filled with concern. When I told him I was pregnant, he pulled me into the tightest hug, tears in his golden eyes. He whispered promises of protecting our baby, of building a safe future together here. Our little hybrid friend brought me wildflowers, grinning like she already knew the good news. Even my mom and Orpheus were smiling, finally at peace with their past mistakes. But the celebration didn't last long. Silas's phone blared with an urgent message from Europe. He rushed over, his usually calm face tight with worry. "We have a problem in Europe," he said. A young hybrid with fire powers was being hunted by rogue witches, desperate for help. Daniel and I locked eyes. We couldn't leave a young hybrid to face those witches alone. I strapped my silver dagger to my waist, already shifting into mission mode. Pregnancy wouldn't stop me. Daniel called his most trusted wolf guards, and they assembled in seconds, ready to fight. Our young hybrid friend insisted on coming too. "I can help fight the witches," she declared. I hugged her tightly, nodding. "You're with us, but you have to stay close, okay?" As we prepared to leave, everyone from Safe Haven waved us off, their faces full of hope. I placed a hand on my growing stomach. "We're going to save her," I whispered, "for both of us." Our vehicles roared into the night, heading for Europe. A new mission, a new fight, but this time, we had more to protect. Little did we know, the witches were waiting for us, and they had a far darker plan than we imagined. Daniel and I tracked the fire-wielding hybrid to a European vampire castle. Something felt off. The castle walls were covered in glowing red symbols, ancient witch magic, thick with malice. We found her hiding in a secret chamber, her powers spiraling out of control from fear. I approached slowly. I recognized that terrified look. I'd been where she was. I taught her to channel her fear into control, not destruction. Hybrid power is a choice. The symbols flared to life. Those witches had tracked us, and they were breaking in. Witches flooded the hall, their dark magic crackling like angry lightning. This was no random attack. I unleashed my time powers, slowing their spells to a crawl, buying us precious seconds. Daniel roared, leading his werewolf guards into battle claws and fangs against dark magic. The hybrid girl cried out, unleashing a wave of golden fire that incinerated 3 witches instantly. The surviving witches fled, their confidence shattered by a child's power. We had won this fight. She walked to me, eyes bright with resolve. She wanted to come to Safe Haven, to fight with us. She'd already armed herself with a silver stake, ready to stand for her new family. We left at dawn, the girl between us, another hybrid saved, another ally in our fight. But a vision lingered. Darkness was gathering, and this girl would be key to stopping it. Daniel squeezed my hand, sensing my unease. We'd face whatever came together. We walked towards Safe Haven, the forest stretching ahead, our sanctuary, our fight, our family. The girl laughed for the first time in months, a sound I'd never tire of hearing. But the vision wouldn't fade. This was just the beginning of something far bigger. That girl wasn't just a rescue, she was the key to stopping the darkness coming for us all. I stood at my old pack house door, heart heavy with a dread I couldn't name. The creaky halls held memories I'd spent years trying to forget. My father lay wasting away, felled by that cruel werewolf disease. I took his fragile hand, throat tight with unshed tears. The room felt suffocating, heavy with the weight of impending loss. His voice cracked as he apologized for forcing me to marry Daniel. I told him I'd forgiven him long ago. He'd done his best. His hand slipped from mine, his eyes going still and empty. Tears burned my eyes as I realized he was gone. We buried him beside my mother's old grave, the air thick with grief. I whispered goodbye, promising I'd never forget him. A familiar voice made me turn, and there was my sister, looking broken. She apologized for all the hurt she'd caused, her voice shaking. I saw the truth in her eyes. She'd truly changed. She asked to join our Safe Haven's guards, to earn back our trust. I handed her a silver dagger, telling her to prove herself. She promised she'd never let us down again. We hugged, the weight of years of hurt finally lifting. For the first time in years, I felt a flicker of hope for our family. But a quiet warning buzzed in my bones. Danger wasn't truly gone. My sister's dagger glinted in the sun, a promise of redemption. We walked back to the Safe Haven together, ready to face whatever came next. I thought we'd finally escaped the cycle of war. But fate had other plans. Safe Haven was supposed to be our sanctuary, our chance to start over. My sister sat beside me, her eyes heavy with the weight of her mistakes. I'd already forgiven her, but she still had to forgive herself. Daniel was quiet as always, but I could feel his support like a warm hand on my back. She swore she'd spend every day making up for what she'd done. Daniel nodded, his golden eyes softening for the first time all day. Then the door slammed open, and the scout stumbled in, his face ashen with terror. He brought a message that shattered our fragile calm. The leader of the hunters wasn't dead. He was coming for us. He'd survived our last battle, and he was angrier than ever. He'd built an army of controlled supernaturals, ready to destroy us. I wouldn't let him take everything we'd built. We had to prepare. And we had to prepare fast. Every hybrid, every werewolf, every vampire we would fight together. This wasn't just about survival. This was about home. We reinforced our walls, sharpened our stakes, and called for allies. Even my sister picked up her blade, ready to fight for our new family. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, his golden eyes blazing with fury. The sun set on our valley. But we were ready for the dark. Alpha blood ran through my veins. I would lead them to victory. The young hybrid girl stood tall, no trace of fear in her eyes. Orpheus joined us, his ancient power a quiet promise of strength. Silas had his own stake, hidden in his pen, always prepared. Our defenses were ready traps lined the borders, walls reinforced with silver. In the distance, we saw their army, stretching as far as the eye could see. I raised my hand, and the entire valley fell silent. We were ready. The leader raised his hand, and his army moved forward, slow, relentless, deadly. I drew my own silver dagger, my grip tight. The time for talking was over. For a heartbeat, the world stood still. Then the first battle cry rang out. The first werewolf lunged, his eyes empty, controlled by the hunters. Daniel was on him in an instant, his fangs sinking into the wolf's neck. My sister fought a vampire, her dagger finding its heart with practiced ease. The young hybrid girl unleashed her fire powers, burning the controlled creatures back. The valley turned into a battlefield, blood, fire, and howls filling the air. I locked eyes with the hunter leader, his scarred face twisted with rage. He charged at me, his silver dagger glinting in the moonlight. I dodged, his dagger grazing my arm, leaving a burning silver wound. I swung my own dagger, aiming for his heart, but he blocked it. We fought, our blades clashing, as Daniel and my sister fought off his guards. He grabbed my wrist, his grip like iron, and slammed me against a rock. My sister ran to my aid, stabbing him in the leg, making him roar in pain. He turned on her, his eyes filled with murder, but I was already on my feet. I jumped onto his back, stabbing him in the shoulder, silver burning his flesh. He fell to the ground, and his army began to falter without his control. They were free. The hunter leader was finally dead, and this time, he wouldn't come back. The controlled creatures blinked, their eyes clearing, confusion replacing their rage. We had won, but the cost was high. We lost good friends, brave fighters, people who had become family. But as the sun rose over the valley, we knew we had a future to fight for. The hunters are here, and I'm the only one who can protect our safe haven. We're outnumbered, but we've got wolves, vampires, and hybrids fighting side by side. Their leader's got something terrible up his sleeve. This battle won't be easy. Daniel's leading the charge, his wolf form cutting through their ranks like a blade. The battle erupts into chaos, but I know my time powers are our only hope. I focus every ounce of my power, slowing time around the advancing hunters. They freeze mid-step, confused, as the world slows to a crawl around them. My sister fights beside us, her silver dagger finding its mark with every strike. The young hybrid shifts into her wolf form, tearing through the hunters with ferocious strength. Their leader activates a dimension weapon, something that can tear reality itself apart. The weapon blazes to life, and I can feel the fabric of reality bending around it. I push past my limits, drawing every last drop of time power from deep within me. A wave of pure time energy erupts from me, crashing into the dimension weapon. The weapon's light fades, its power snuffed out by my time manipulation. While he's distracted, my sister strikes, driving her silver dagger into his chest. He crumbles to the ground, his reign of terror finally over. Without their leader, the hunters scatter, and our army erupts in cheers of victory. But using all that power takes its toll. My vision blurs, and my legs give up. Daniel shifts back to human, sprinting toward me to catch me before I fall. Everything goes black as I lose consciousness, but I know we won this battle, no matter the cost. Daniel carries me back to our safe haven, the army parting to let us pass, cheers ringing in my ears. The young hybrid girl approaches, her wolf form fading, a triumphant smile on her face. My sister watches from afar, her guilt mixing with relief she finally did something right. Back at camp, celebrations begin. We survived the worst threat we've ever faced. As I drift back to consciousness, I feel a hand squeezing mine Daniel's right by my side. Every ache in my body screamed one thing: I was carrying a hybrid child. Our child. Daniel held me close in our quiet cabin at Safe Haven. But peace never lasts long. Then the message arrived, an invitation from hybrids in Asia, begging us to lead them. I stumbled to the screen, my hands shaking with a mix of fear and hope. Daniel stood behind me, his eyes shining with resolve, as my sister and the young hybrid joined us. Daniel's golden wolf eyes blazed. This was our calling, our chance to unite all hybrids. My sister stepped forward, her silver dagger in hand, ready to redeem herself by our side. The young hybrid girl gripped her silver stake, eager to prove her strength on this new journey. We walked through Safe Haven, our hybrid family cheering us on as we headed for the waiting vehicles. Daniel placed his hand over mine on my belly, whispering that our child would grow up in a world of united hybrids. As the vehicle rumbled to life, I stared back at Safe Haven, wondering what fate awaited us in Asia. The road stretched ahead, winding through mountains, as we journeyed toward the unknown hybrid city. I couldn't shake the feeling that something dark waited for us in that hidden Asian city. Something we couldn't prepare for. The young hybrid twirled her stake, seemingly fearless, but I saw the flicker of doubt in her eyes. My sister met my gaze, her voice soft as she thanked me for giving her a second chance. Daniel's silver claw necklace glinted in the dim light, a reminder of his alpha power, our protector. As we crested the final mountain, we saw it, the hidden hybrid city in Asia, glowing gold in the dusk. My breath caught in my throat. The city was more magnificent, more ancient than anything I'd ever imagined. Daniel squeezed my hand, his voice steady. This is where our legacy begins, Eva. We stood together, four unlikely allies, ready to answer the call of the hybrids in Asia and face whatever darkness lay ahead. We finally reached the hidden hybrid city in Asia, nestled high in the mountains. The city was stunning, full of Eastern-style architecture, and hybrids welcomed us warmly. An ancient hybrid leader approached, asking us to co-lead this city together. I agreed, knowing this would be our biggest responsibility yet, and Daniel stood by me. Then a sharp pain hit my stomach. I realized the baby was coming, right then and there. The pain intensified, and I clung to Daniel, my knuckles white with the effort. The hybrids sprung into action, preparing supplies, standing guard, ready to help. But the peace didn't last. Remnants of the hunters of the eclipse emerged, attacking without warning. Chaos erupted as the hybrids fought back, while Daniel shielded me from the danger. I tapped into my hybrid powers, silver light flaring in my eyes. I wouldn't let them hurt my baby. The city's defense shield activated, a golden glow wrapping around us to block the hunters' attacks. Daniel shifted into his massive wolf form, lunging at the hunters to keep us safe. The young hybrid girl shifted too, joining the fight with fierce determination. The hunter's leader locked eyes with me, his gaze full of pure hatred for all hybrids. I used my time-manipulating powers, slowing the hunters' movements to buy us time. The city took damage, but we fought like men, determined to protect our home. A sudden, sharp pain hit my abdomen. I gasped, knowing the baby was coming right now. Daniel's wolf form stood over me, roaring at the hunters, a living wall between me and danger. Together, the hybrids pushed back the hunters, gaining a momentary reprieve from fighting. But the hunter's leader wasn't done. He drew a silver dagger, aiming straight for me. In the hybrid city's infirmary, I fought through the pain. My son was finally here. My sister and the young hybrid girl stood guard, keeping the last hunters at bay. His eyes were just like mine, bright blue, holding the same unyielding fire I carried. But when light hit them, they glowed gold. Daniel's wolf eyes, a powerful gift from his bloodline. Daniel held my hand, pride in his golden eyes. We named him Orpheus, our hope for the future. Outside, my sister fought with all her strength, redeeming every mistake she'd ever made. The young hybrid girl unleashed her fire powers, driving the retreating hunters into the shadows. The last of the hunters fled, their threat finally broken. Our city was safe, for now. Orpheus wrapped his tiny hand around my finger, a silent promise to grow strong and protect us all. My sister apologized, and Daniel nodded. We'd given her a chance to earn our trust again. The young girl smiled, her fire powers fading. She'd proven herself a true hero that day. When we stepped outside, the crowd cheered. They saw Orpheus as their future protector. The hybrid city's golden streets stretched out, a safe haven we'd built with blood, tears, and love. For the first time in forever, I felt true peace, but I knew more battles waited in the future. Daniel pulled me close, his golden eyes warm. We'd face whatever came, together as a family. I noticed a faint silver mark on Orpheus's forehead. His hybrid powers were already awakening. We'd built strong defenses, trained our army. Nothing would hurt my son, not on my watch. Our small but fierce family stood united. We were the protectors of this hybrid haven. As the sun set over our city, I knew this was just the start of our legacy. Daniel and I locked eyes. Our love had created this safe haven, and it would protect us all forever. The young girl looked at Orpheus with warmth. She'd be his first friend and protector. My sister stood guard at the city's border, proving she'd earned her place by our side. Our city healed and thrived, each hybrid and supernatural finding their place here. Orpheus's wolf eyes glowed again, a reminder that he was destined for greatness. We stood together at the city's peak, watching our home grow. This was our story, and it was only just beginning. I thought we finally found peace in our hybrid city, until the urgent call came from Africa. They found an ancient artifact that could grant hybrids immortality, but vampire elders are hunting them down. Our peace shattered. We had to leave everything behind to protect our own. With our son, my redeemed sister, and our young hybrid ally, we prepared to journey to Africa. The familiar city shrank below us as we set course for the dangerous African jungle. I feared for our unborn child, but protecting our hybrid family came first. Daniel and my sister planned our defense, while our young ally shared her combat expertise. The African jungle loomed ahead, dense, dangerous, and full of hidden threats. The air reeked of danger. We stepped into the jungle, ready for whatever came our way. My hybrid senses tingled. I could hear the sounds of battle deep in the jungle. We raced toward the fight, knowing every second could mean life or death for our hybrid king. We found the ancient temple, and the glowing artifact that held our people's hope. But the vampire elders were already there, waiting to steal the artifact for their own dark purposes. A tense standoff began. We wouldn't let them take what belonged to all hybrids. My hybrid powers surged. I wouldn't let anyone harm my family or our hybrid kin. The battle erupted. We fought side by side, using every skill we had to protect the artifact. Our young ally unleashed her fire powers, turning the tide of the battle in our favor. Daniel shifted into his wolf form and took down their leader in a single powerful leap. I reached the artifact, feeling its ancient power surge through me. It could save our people. We'd won, but I knew this was only the beginning. Our hybrid family's journey was far from over. As we prepared to return home, I held our son close, grateful we'd protected our future. The jungle shrank below us as we carried the artifact to safety. But new threats waited in the stars. We tracked the artifact to an ancient African temple, but something felt wrong the second we stepped into the jungle. The air reeked of vampire magic, and I could sense the elders waiting for us inside. There they were, the vampire elders, already clutching the immortality artifact like it was their birthright. I didn't hesitate. I unleashed my time powers, freezing them mid-move before they could strike. Daniel moved in to disable them, but my eyes were locked on that dangerous crystal. I knew then this artifact couldn't stay in anyone's hands, not even ours. I grabbed it, feeling its corrupting power seep into my bones as I held it tight. With all my strength, I hurled it toward the volcano, praying it would be destroyed forever. The crystal exploded in a burst of light, its power dissipating into the volcanic smoke. When the elders unfroze, their faces twisted with rage, they knew their plan was over. Daniel took down the last elder, and finally, the threat was neutralized. We should have celebrated, but a cold dread settled in my chest. Something was still wrong. Then the vision hit me, sharp and unforgiving, a hidden base in Antarctica. Nuclear weapons primed. The hunters of the eclipse were planning to wipe out every supernatural creature on Earth. I stumbled back, and Daniel caught me, his eyes filled with concern as I gasped out the truth. We couldn't rest, not when the fate of every hybrid, vampire, and wolf hung in the balance. We turned away from the temple, already plotting our next move. Antarctica was our next target. The jungle seemed to sigh behind us, but we knew this was only the beginning of a bigger war. I gripped my silver dagger tight, ready to fight for every being that couldn't fight for themselves. And as we vanished into the trees, I swore we'd stop the hunters before they could unleash their apocalypse. We built our safe haven, but the purge isn't done with us yet. They've got a silver cannon that can wipe out every hybrid in miles. Daniel will lead the wolves to draw their fire. Silas and I will slip in. Daniel's ready to lead his pack into the fire for us. Silas is bringing his silver stake. He's not taking any chances. The young hybrid girl stepped forward. She wanted in too. I couldn't say no. She's already proven her courage. We moved through the trees, quiet as shadows, closing in on their camp. That's when I heard it, a voice I thought I'd never hear again. My sister, she was alive, and she'd become an immortal hybrid. I watched her die. But the purge had turned her into something new. She said she was immortal now, and she wasn't on our side. Silas readied his silver stake. He wasn't letting her hurt us. The young hybrid shifted into her lichen form, ready to fight. We thought we were ready for the purge, but we never expected her. She blamed me for everything, for our mother, for her fate. I tried to reason with her, to remind her we were family, but she laughed. She'd already chosen the dark side. Then we heard it. The cannon was charging, ready to fire. I had a choice, save my sister, or save every hybrid in the valley. I never expected my sister to attack me. She'd been turned into a vampire hybrid by the purge. Her eyes glowed red, her face twisted with the purge's control. I had to fight the sister I once loved. I shifted into my vampire form, fangs bared. This wasn't my sister anymore. This was a monster. We clashed, our hybrid powers exploding. Every blow hurt more than the last. Then I heard it, Daniel's wolves, attacking the purge camp to distract them. Silas and the young hybrid girl raced to destroy the cannon before it fired. My sister lunged, silver dagger aimed at my heart. I barely dodged in time. Daniel's wolves tore through the purge soldiers, giving us the chance we needed. I grabbed her wrist, staring into her eyes. "Wake up!" I screamed, begging her to remember. For a second, her red eyes faded to blue. She recognized me then. The controls snapped back. The young hybrid girl used her fire powers to melt the cannon's supports. Silas drove his silver stake into the cannon's core, trying to disable it. The battlefield was chaos wolves, hybrids, and purge soldiers, all fighting for survival. I used my time powers, slowing everything around me. I had to break the purge's control. I pressed my hand to her forehead, pouring all my time energy into breaking their hold. Her eyes cleared, the red glow gone. She was my sister again, scared and confused. She collapsed into my arms, sobbing. "I'm sorry," she repeated over and over. Then the cannon fired. A hybrid-killing bullet shot straight for safe haven. I ran as fast as I could, but it was already too late. I channeled every last bit of my time powers, freezing the bullet midair. The bullet hung there, frozen in time, glowing with the force of my power. Daniel reached my side, his golden eyes wide with fear. "Did you stop it?" he asked. Silas and the girl joined us, yelling that the cannon was finally destroyed. I released my hold. The bullet dropped harmlessly to the ground, useless. We'd won this battle, but I knew the purge would be back. And next time, they'd be stronger. I thought I'd lost everything, but time gave me one last chance to fight back. Purge's cannon was about to wipe out our safe haven, and I had to stop it before it was too late. With a surge of my time powers, I froze every single bullet mid-air, hanging like deadly stars. Silas and the young hybrid girl weren't far behind, armed with silver bombs to destroy the cannon. Every second counted, and one wrong move would mean the end for everyone I loved. The power coursing through my veins burned hot, but I held on for our home, for our future. Bullets hung frozen in the air, a silent testament to the power I'd only just learned to control. Silas and the girl moved like shadows, their silver bombs glinting in the dim light of battle. The cannon erupted in a burst of silver light, shattering into 1,000 pieces before it could fire. Daniel's wolves tore through the remaining purge members, their snarls echoing across the valley. No mercy was needed. These hunters had shown none to us when we were at our weakest. Amidst the chaos, I heard a voice I thought I'd never hear again, my sister, asking for forgiveness. I stared at her, seeing not the traitor she'd been, but the sister I'd grown up with. I didn't trust her yet, but I gave her a chance to redeem herself, to make things right. She said she was leaving to save other supernatural beings trapped by the purge, and I let her go. Just as the battle ended, a vision hit me. Something far worse than the purge was coming. They called themselves the Hunters of the Eclipse, and they wanted to erase all supernatural life from the world. I could feel their presence already, dark and hungry, closing in on us from every direction. Our safe haven had survived the purge, but the real war was only just beginning. And I swore right then that I would protect everyone, no matter what it cost me. Daniel and I stood side by side, our powers combining to create an unbreakable front. Silas was already preparing for the next fight, his silver stake ready for whatever came our way. The young hybrid girl was growing stronger every day, proving herself to be a fierce ally. We started rebuilding immediately, strengthening our defenses for the storm we knew was coming. I thought we'd finally found peace, but an ancient nightmare just woke up. We gathered in our war room, facing a threat we never saw coming. The Hunters of the Eclipse. Ancient, ruthless, and now fully awake. Our youngest hybrid volunteered to scout, fearless even in the face of death. We had no idea they were already here, watching us from the shadows. A searing pain tore through my gut. I looked down and saw the silver dagger, silver forged to kill hybrids like me. They'd infiltrated our most secure space. Daniel reacted instantly, his wolf instincts taking over to protect me. Silas drew his hidden silver stake, ready to take down any hunter in his path. They were everywhere. Our walls meant nothing to these ancient killers. My vampire side roared to life, ready to fight for my home and my family. Our youngest warrior didn't hesitate, charging straight into the fray. The Vampire King unleashed his ancient magic, turning the tide of the fight. Daniel fully shifted into his wolf form, tearing through our enemies like they were nothing. I pulled the silver dagger from my gut, ignoring the pain to keep fighting. They retreated, but we all knew this was only the first attack. Silas used his healing potion to stop my bleeding, saving me from a slow death. I stared at their symbol, knowing our fight was far from over. We regrouped, planning our defense against an enemy we barely understood. The alarms blared again. They were already attacking our outer walls. This was just the beginning. I thought that was it, bleeding out on the safe haven floor, my vision fading fast. Then she shifted our young hybrid guardian, fangs bared and claws glinting in the sun. The hunter who stabbed me froze. He never expected a child to fight back like this. Daniel didn't hesitate. His wolf form exploded into the fray, protecting our home. Silas was right behind him, his silver stake carving through the intruders one by one. They dragged me to safety, shoving a glowing green healing potion down my throat. The pain vanished instantly, the wound knitting back together like it never happened. That's when we learned the truth. Those hunters weren't after us. They wanted my time powers. They planned to steal my ability to manipulate time, to weaponize it for their dark goals. Silas looked grim. He knew this wasn't the end, just the start of something bigger. Before we could plan defense, a scout sprinted in, panic etched into every line of his face. The Hunters of the Eclipse had attacked the Vampire King's castle, taken his queen hostage. They'd stormed the gates, slaughtered the guards, and chained the queen in their dungeons. Daniel looked at me, and I knew we couldn't abandon them. We had to mount a rescue. We rallied our forces, hybrids, werewolves, and vampires who'd joined our safe haven. I grabbed my silver dagger, the cold metal a familiar comfort in my shaking hand. We moved out at dawn, marching toward the vampire castle, the air thick with tension. The Vampire King would be waiting, his army decimated, his hope fading fast. As we approached, the air grew cold, thick with the scent of blood and fear. I could feel their eyes on us, the hunters waiting inside, ready to trap us in their lair. Daniel shifted first, his wolf form towering, ready to lead the charge through the gates. Our small army readied their weapons, ready to fight for the queen and for our future. We're storming the vampire castle, our mission. Rescue the queen before it's too late. Daniel's wolves and our hybrid army have my back, but hunters are waiting for us inside. The castle halls reek of death. Hunters have already torn through the vampire guards. We move silently toward the throne room where the queen's being held hostage. The throne room's guarded tight, and their leader's got a plan we won't like. I can feel my time powers surging. This is how we turn the tide. Freeze time. I trap the hunters mid-attack, giving us our window to strike. Maintaining the freeze takes everything, but I can't let them break free. I dart past the frozen hunters straight to the queen. She's terrified, but alive. Daniel and his wolves pounce on the remaining hunters, no mercy for our enemies. Daniel's claws tear through their defenses. He's not holding back. Our hybrid fighters and wolves make quick work of the rest. Soon the room's clear. The vampire king arrives, relief flooding his face. We saved his queen. He rushes to her side, untying her bonds. She's shaken, but safe. He bows to us, swearing eternal gratitude, but I don't feel safe yet. Then it hits me a vision, clearer than anything I've ever seen. The hunters have a weapon, one that opens doors to a dimension where we don't exist. They plan to banish every supernatural creature there to erase us entirely. I snap back to reality, my blood running cold. This is worse than anything we've faced. Everyone turns to me, waiting for me to speak, and I know we're far from done. I tell them everything, the weapon, the dimension, the plan, to erase us all. Gasps echo through the room. No one expected a threat this big. Daniel growls, his golden eyes blazing. He won't let anyone hurt our kind. The king orders his guards to mobilize. We need every fighter we can get. We gather our forces, ready to hunt down that weapon before it's too late. We were gathered in safe haven, plotting to take down the hunters and their dimension weapon. Every hybrid in that room knew what was at stake, our freedom, our lives. But the hunters' base was hidden well. We were running out of time. I stepped closer to the map, trying to spot any clue we might have missed. We thought we were alone in this fight, until the doors slammed open. It was Orpheus and my mother, Clara. I never expected them to show up here. She had been working with Orpheus, redeeming corrupted vampires all this time. She wasn't the monster I once feared. She was trying to make amends, and they brought something we desperately needed, a map to the hunter's hidden base. Finally, we had a lead. We could stop the dimension weapon before it was too late. The base was hidden deep in the mountains, far from any human settlement. Silas confirmed it matched the intel he'd gathered. The map was legitimate. Even the young hybrid girl was ready to fight. We weren't backing down. I turned to grab my weapons, ready to head out at dawn. But just as we finalized our plan, the comms crackled to life. It was a voice I recognized, my sister's. She sounded breathless. She'd been tracking the hunters on her own, against our wishes. I felt my blood run cold. She could have gotten herself killed. "Where are you?" I demanded. "Tell me right now." She told me she'd found the hunter's base, but she wasn't alone anymore. The line went dead before she could say more. We had to go, now. We grabbed our weapons and gear, moving faster than ever before. My mother handed me her dagger, a silent promise to fight together. I led the charge out of the war room, my sister's safety on my mind. We had no idea what we'd find at the base, but we couldn't turn back. 6 of us, sneaking into the hunter's fortress. My time powers are our only shield. Each of us carries a deadly skill. Failure isn't an option this time. Guards patrol every corner. They'll tear us apart if we're caught. I unfurled my time powers, wrapping us in an invisible shield. We slipped past the guards like ghosts. The target was getting closer. A familiar hatred filled the air. It was my sister, but she wasn't herself. She was working for the hunters, lunging for my throat with a silver dagger. I spotted the control mark on her neck. She's being manipulated. I channeled my time powers, targeting the control hold on her mind. Her red eyes faded to blue, but we had no time to wait. We had to move. The floor shifted beneath us. A spike trap, primed to impale anyone who stepped wrong. I froze the trap mid-trigger, giving us time to leap over the deadly spikes. Footsteps echoed ahead. More hunters, coming our way fast. Silas drew his silver stake, disguised as a pen, ready to fight if we were discovered. We squeezed into a shadowed alcove, holding our breath as the hunter squad marched past. A blue glow seeped from a door ahead. That was the dimensional weapon we needed. We sprinted to the door, our hearts pounding. This was the moment we'd been fighting for. My hand wrapped around the doorknob. Whatever was inside, we had to destroy it. The door creaked open, revealing the massive dimensional weapon, pulsing with blue energy. Red alarms blared to life. We'd been discovered. Now we had to destroy it before they did. I locked eyes with the weapon. My time powers would be the key to destroying it. Orpheus and Clara moved to cut the energy lines, distracting the weapon's defenses. The young hybrid girl drew her silver stake, ready to fend off the incoming hunters. Daniel shifted into his wolf form, roaring as he prepared to block the door from the hunters. I unleashed my full-time powers, wrapping the weapon in a field of warped time. This would end it. I finally reached the dimension weapon chamber. But my sister was already there, eyes glowing red. She wasn't my sister anymore. She was a puppet of the hunters, dagger raised to strike. I didn't want to hurt her, but I had no choice if we both wanted to live. I dodged her strike, my time powers flaring as I tried to break the control. The weapon hummed behind us, growing brighter with every passing second. I grabbed her wrist, forcing the dagger away, and called out her real name. For a second, her red eyes faded to blue. She was fighting the control. I pulled her into a hug, whispering that everything would be okay if she fought with me. But the weapon had already reached critical mass. It was going to activate any second. I channeled all my time powers, wrapping us both in a blue light to rewrite history. We were back on her wedding day, the day she ran away from Daniel and her pack. I told her what would happen if she ran, how the hunters would twist her into a weapon. She hesitated, then turned and walked back into the church, choosing to face her fate. The world shifted around us, and we were back in the weapon chamber. The weapon was silent now, its light gone. We'd stopped it before it could destroy everything, my sister cried, apologizing for everything she'd done while under their control. But our victory was short-lived. The hunter's leader was standing in the doorway. He didn't waste a second. He lunged for the young hybrid girl who'd followed us. He grabbed her arm before I could react, his grip like iron around her wrist. He dragged her out of the room, yelling that we'd never get her back alive. My time powers flared to life. I wasn't going to let him take her from us. I froze the hunter leader with my time powers. This was our only chance to end this. Daniel lunged, his wolf strength making every blow count. The young hybrid girl broke free. She wasn't going down without a fight. We ran, Daniel covering our backs as we fled the icy prison. The remaining hunters surrendered. Their reign of terror was over. Or so we thought. The leader broke free, his eyes burning with rage. I grabbed his own silver dagger. Justice would be served. He fell, the light fading from his eyes. The Eclipse hunters were finished. We reunited, bruised but alive. We'd won, at last. We headed back to Safe Haven home, at last. As we entered Safe Haven, I felt a sense of peace I'd never known before. The Vampire King declared a permanent alliance. We weren't alone anymore. But then, a vision hit me, of a newborn hybrid, more powerful than any of us. I looked at Daniel. We knew what this meant. A new chapter was beginning. The valley celebrated, but I knew our work was far from over. The young hybrid girl stood beside me. She'd be ready, no matter what came. Daniel pulled me close. Whatever the future held, we'd face it together. That child would need us, and we'd be there, every step of the way. The alliance was sealed. Supernatural kind would stand united from now on. As fireworks lit the sky, I smiled. For the first time in years, I felt hope. But I kept my dagger close. Peace was fragile, and I'd protect it with my life.